Alright, Fable 4 delay, that's what we're going to be talking about this video. But before we get into it, I do want to have a quick disclaimer. If I stutter on any of my words or, repeat myself or basically mess up any of my words, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be taking it out. I'm not going to restart it. I feel like I've been such a perfectionist trying to make this small little video of just me rambling. And I don't know why I'm even trying to perfect rambling, because that's all it is. It's just me rambling in my room about nothing. But yeah, I don't want to keep restarting, because this is like my 8th time trying to record this, and as soon as I mess up something small, I just restart, and I feel like it's not good enough, and I don't know, I need to just stop being a perfectionist, and I'm just gonna let it rip. So if there's a little awkward point and you get a little cringed out watching me, feel free to click off. Right, that's probably what I'm gonna do when I watch it back and be like, fuck it, bro, I don't care, posting it anyway. So anyways, yeah, to get into the video and to stop wasting your time, Fable 4. All right, that's what we're talking about. I know this is like a week late or something. I don't know exactly when it was announced that it was delayed to 2026, but the original release date was supposed to be 2025. That's when it was confirmed. And to be honest, it wasn't confirmed too long ago. It was probably like a month or two ago. It was confirmed like, oh, this is the release date, 2025. And then to announce the delay this early on, I mean, there's a few things that could happen, but I mean, I feel like a delay doesn't really happen like, I feel like you just don't announce it like, a couple months after you announce that the game's coming out 2025. Like, what could happen in that 2 months or 3 months or whatever, 4 months? Give it even max 4 months. What could happen where you're just decide to delay the game? I don't know. It really is how you look at it. It could be good news. It could be bad news. Obviously, nobody really knows except the developers. I really want to talk about. I think it's probably potentially a good thing for the series itself. I feel like it will strive more, giving it a little more time for them to work on it and hopefully get it in a more polished state. I mean, to be honest, if you haven't seen the gameplay footage, it's like alpha footage, but they released that. I mean, for compensation when they announced it's coming out in 2026, because obviously that's a big bummer for anyone who really wants to play the game. But I feel like that little bit of time, like an extra year, me personally, I feel like it's not that bad, especially since I personally been expecting this game to come out a while ago, and every year I get disappointed, mostly because you see leaks all the way back in like 2022, 2023, saying it's going to come out this year, and then you start thinking, I mean, they've never even announced it. I mean, I don't know when it was confirmed. They did put out a little just CGI trailer just stating Fable, but they didn't really release any information, no like ideas of when it might come out. But anyways, there was leaks that this game was being worked on in like 2018 or maybe even 2017, which is almost 10 years ago at this point, bro. And especially if the game releases in 2026, that'll almost be 10 years. And that's just when the leaks come out. All right, that's when they came out. Obviously, like, it could have been in works or even talking like years before that. Who knows? So anyways, it's been a long time in development, which means they're probably really, really putting a lot of effort into it, which I think is a good thing for the game personally. But yeah, I really wanted to make this video because I feel like anyone really seeking out that Fable content, there's not a lot to go around, and you might see this, and I'm just here to really say I don't think it's probably not as bad as news as some might think. I mean, you hear a delay, and usually it's bad news for the person who wants to play the game, but for the game, like the state of the game, you can't really tell if it's good or bad news. I think it probably isn't that bad of news, mostly because I think 2025 is like it's a great year for gaming, right? There's a lot of games coming out, but along with a lot of games comes like a lot of competition, and for a game like I feel like not as well known as Fable, that could be pretty bad, because I mean, like, let's say you launch your game in 2025, right? Let's say they launch it in, I don't know, like November. All right, they launched Fable in November, and then who knows, like, people play the game for like a month or two, even if they even see it, and then I mean, what's going to make you keep playing the game when GTA 6 comes out? Nothing, really. I mean, you're just going to be like, all right, well, GTA 6 is way more fun. I mean, that's assuming that it is more fun, but either way, like, if you're just now getting into it and you don't really enjoy it like that, I mean, there's a lot of competition to steal away your player base. So, yeah, the main point is 2026 might not be a big year for gaming as 2025 is. Because me personally, I have my eyes on a few games in 2025. I'm looking out for Ninja Gaiden, all right? Because there's a fourth one apparently, and I guess it's coming out in 2025. And then Borderlands 4. All right, I didn't really like Borderlands 3, but I feel like they probably can figure out where they didn't do as well, for me at least. Because I think in general that people like Borderlands 2 more. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm pretty sure that's like what I've seen when I've looked into it. I don't really look that much into or in the Borderlands. I mean, but yeah. Anyways, Borderlands 4 probably going to be a good game, but that's not the point. I mean, 2025 is a big game for gaming in general. Like I said, if you just search up 2025 games, you can see a list of just, a bunch of games that are supposed to be releasing. But yeah, back to the main titan. GTA 6. Nobody wants to release their game around GTA 6, and which is why I think GTA 6 will probably come out Q4. All right, if you don't know what that means, just the later part of the year. And so even if that happens, we could probably expect Fable 4 not to release like in Q1 at all, because GTA 6 is probably it's going to have a huge player base for years to come, probably a decade. I mean, that's what Fable 5 did. I mean, GTA 5, my fault. But yeah, GTA 5, people still play a game. It came out like a decade ago. Probably more at this point. I don't know the exact release date, but Fable, on the other hand, the first game came out in 2004, which is literally like 21 years ago at this point. So, I mean, it's been a long ride for Journey, or it's been a what am I saying? It's been a long journey and a long ride for the Fable fans, and Fable 3 was probably like the killing blow, like the studio shut down and never made another game, but they put the rights off to I think it's Playground Games. I think that's the name. Basically the people who made Forza, which is it could be a big like red flag that a racing game is developing Fable 4. But a good thing is Forza is got good graphics. All right, so hopefully Fable 4. Bro, sorry, I got my numbers everywhere. I'm talking about a bunch of different numbers. But anyways, Fable 4, or I'll just call it the Fable reboot at this point. All right, you could probably expect to see good graphics from them, especially considering that they released the alpha footage, and watching that, you can see it's in a pretty good state for alpha, because you can search up alpha footage for other games and see the state those games are in, and there was probably a good comparison difference right there. But yeah, when it comes to the Fable reboot, there's a lot of stuff you really can talk about, and I want to talk about, but I feel like I don't want this video to be too long. But there's things to be expecting, and a lot of me personally, I think a big make or break for the game is whether you can be good or evil, because literally if you have the box for the first game, I mean, the whole thing was based around like your actions have consequences, and if they completely take that out and just make you go along like pretty much every game today, you just have to be the good guy, and I mean, like it gets repetitive, bro. You're just always a good guy. Like sometimes you just want to go and like kill a bunch of people, all right? Like in GTA 5, all right? I'm not insane. Yeah, no, but I mean, really, if you can't choose like how you want to play the game, like in good or evil terms, basically, because that's like the main mechanic in the game, if you don't know, or not the main mechanic, but a main factor in like what the game is all about, is like your actions have consequences, and you pretty much choose if you want to go down the evil path or a good path. And obviously it's never black and white. I mean, it's really just more gray. You just do whatever benefits you the most, and sometimes the good choices benefit you, sometimes the evil ones. Or if you just do want to go black and white, you can just always make the evil choices, or you can always make the good choices. But I feel like if the Fable reboot doesn't have any of that in it, because Fable 3 definitely lacked in that section, and I mean, you already see how Fable 3 was definitely the least liked game out of the series. That could be like a big game killer if Fable 4 didn't include that. And I don't know, it's hard to say because it's a new studio making it, and I mean, everyone just hopes they have the due diligence and actually look back at the old games and see why people liked them. I feel like hopefully they'll, realize, people want to have that choice. But anyways, besides that, I'm also expecting to not play as that ugly ass character that they throw in the fucking trailers. That, I mean, that could kill a game, bro. If you throw out a trailer and people watch a trailer and like, what the fuck am I watching? Like, I don't want to play this game. I mean, I don't know why they did that. I don't know if that was supposed to be funny or not, but I mean, that's the beauty about Fable, is that it could have the humor, but it could still take itself seriously. But bro, you can't even watch the trailers without just cringing at the character. So, and I'm not even trying to be hateful, or I'm not trying to. I mean, obviously it's a girl. I'm not trying to be hateful towards women or anything like that. But I mean, since Fable 2 and 3, you could choose if you wanted to be a boy or girl. That's probably what a lot of people are expecting out of Fable 4. I'm assuming you probably can. I feel like. Maybe that could be another reason too. It was delayed. I mean, probably they didn't expect it. They see all the backlash and people want. I mean, they could be adding in the works on adding something like that. I personally want either a character creation or at least a couple good choices for male or female. But hopefully that girl is just a placeholder. Another thing I'm expecting, but probably not going to get, is to have the main character unvoiced. It was pretty much already confirmed that she is voiced, but you can just like I said, you can. It's like, I don't know. It's so like just cut and dry, like simple what people want and what people don't. Because you look at the three main games and you see how 1 and 2 are always debated which one is better. All right, and then you have Fable 3, which is just not good. All right, so Fable 1 and 2, you could be good or evil. You could have those choices. You could do what you want. You could play how you want. And the main character is not voiced, so it's not taking away the aspect of doing good and evil by putting you in a personality. It's I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but you probably understand what I'm saying. But then you look at Fable 3, you can't really choose between good and evil all that much. I mean, either way, you're pretty much just gonna be the good guy the entire time. I don't think you can like go and overthrow your brother and become king and enslave the entire town. So I mean, you can't really choose what you want to do, basically. You know what I mean? But on top of that, Fable 3, the character was voiced, so that's another thing that kicks the game down a notch. I mean, you feel like you don't really get to play the game how you want. You feel like you're just playing it as this character through this person. And I mean, that's the thing, like, because at least whenever it's unvoiced, you can use your imagination and, kind of feel like you can make your character how you want him to be and not just have to play in this personality. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. But that's a big, worrisome for Fable 4 or the reboot, I guess, is that the character's voiced, but who knows? It could have just been a couple lines and it might not be, but either way, that's probably a bad sign. But in general, I think the game's probably going to be pretty good. I've never played The Witcher, but people say they have Witcher comparisons, which, it makes sense. They hired a lot of Witcher like game developers to help work on the game. So, but the thing is with Fable is I want to play Fable, not The Witcher. So, hopefully, either way, when it comes out, it's just as fun and it's what's the word I'm looking for? Like faithful to Fable. People want it to be its own game, not like a knockoff Witcher. And I'm not trying to bash on The Witcher because I never played it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people like that game. I'm sure it's a good game, but like I said, I want to play Fable, and I hope it's true to the Fable series. So yeah, but really, I'm just about to wrap this up. But I don't think the delay could be that big of bad news. I think the longer they leave the game in the oven to bake, and the longer they develop it, I mean, really, just the better the outcome can be. But at some point, it does get to a limit where like we're tired of waiting. Like you don't want to wait all this time for something that's not going to be worth the hype, because then the numbers will probably not be as good at that point. But like I said, I think Fable 4 has good potential, and I don't think delaying it a year is really bad for the game. If anything, it's probably better because, like I said, there's a lot of competition in 2025, and I'm not saying that Fable is not a good franchise or anything, but I feel like it's not as well known, especially since the newer generation of people probably don't really know about the game, considering that the last release I think was on Xbox 360. So I mean, you can play them all today on like Xbox One and all that, but that just kind of tells you like what we're looking at. So like, I mean, a lot of kids nowadays probably haven't even ever had a 360. So how are they going to know about this game or the franchise? And that's why it's kind of tricky to work on this and market it. But like I said, 2026, hopefully there's not as much competition, which brings more eyes onto the few games that do release. And who knows, it might ignite a spark back in the older games too. They'll be like, all right, what is this Fable game? Oh, there's 3 other games before it? Well, I wonder what this is. And, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's my take, I guess. I hope you all have a good one.